He is the co-founder and director of Dash, an animation and motion design studio. His portfolio of clients includes people like JP Morgan, Coinbase, IBM, Coca-Cola. No big deal. And he's here to talk to us today about the value of community and show us how connection is ultimately what helps us rise to the top. And with that, please welcome to the stage, Mack, Garrison.
Do-si-do. Do-si-do. What's up, Phoenix? Yes! We didn't wait. Day one in the books. We all have our coffee. We're going to get a little coffee in their system. Everyone's going to wake. As an East Coaster, we were up at 5:30 this morning, ready to go. Had a few hours to kill. I was like, grab some coffee. But everything's closed on Sunday, so there was a lot of walking around. I'm so excited to be here. Here's my clicker. Let's make sure that works. Sound effects and an animator. Thank you. So my name is Mack Garrison. I'm the director of content and founder of Dash Studio, animation studio based in Raleigh, North Carolina. And so excited to be talking with you all today, coming out here to Phoenix and signing. Thanks for everyone for bringing me out. It's funny, growing in the South, there's a bit of like Southern hospitality that we have. But I'm a big fan of the Southwestern hospitality. Everyone in y'all have been so nice to me since I've arrived. Great recommendations on the food. So, I think there's a little competition with Southern hospitality. Always good to start a presentation off with a dog. It shows we're on the same page, we're animal lovers, wins the crowd over early. This isn't even my dog, that's okay. It's alright, I love dogs. This is Bruno. My sister-in-law's pup, super cute. So I run Dash, like I said, the animation motion design studio. We love to make cool, weird, fun stuff, like to make stuff move on the screen. Someone who has ADHD, it's good as a designer because you can design something and just move away from it and animate something else. But I started Dash because I believe in the power of creativity and community. I think the best work happens together, we support each other, and we can make the best work possible. So we are really built on this idea of connecting brands to their communities through motion. And so the projects that we really excel on are ones where we have collaborative efforts with clients, we have design charrettes with our team, we're all working together for the best solutions. So, for me, and what we're going to get into today, is that there is a realistic value of community. We always talk about, what does actually meeting people do for you? What is having friends in the space and going to events like this? What is the real value of that? And so we'll get into it. But first, to understand it a bit, I kind of got to talk a little bit about how Dash was formed, where our priorities are, what we've been able to accomplish through this investment community. And I think I'll give you some insights for the future and for this conference today. So, there's our team. This is us. They'd be mortified that I put this on screen and share with you all. We have a nice yearbook style photo where we're all there together looking like classic designer, black and white wardrobe. But to me, this is just such an authentic shot of our team. This was a retreat we did in Asheville, North Carolina, which is a really wonderful spot. But our team, we're spread across the East Coast. Like a lot of folks over the course of the pandemic, we had to transition to a remote working operation, but it also opened doors to working in different states. So we have staff in Florida, Texas, North Carolina, Georgia, Massachusetts, New York. And so we really are spread out. So just trying to get up and get together is still really important. So these are some shots from our holiday party, hanging out at some of the conferences we go to, and it's just a really great group of talented individuals. And we also work with some really wonderful freelancers as well too. And so a big part of who we are is not only our internal teams, but how we're working with folks outside of our space as well. So, I'm talking a lot about animation, but you haven't really seen much animation. It's a lot of people. And, for me, the reason that I highlight our staff and some of our freelancers right off the bat is because, honestly, it's a big part of who we are. It's a big part of our personality, and it's what a differentiator is for us. I'm sure you all recognize just how many new designers are on the space, how many studios are on the space. There's a lot of creatives these days. And like all of you, we get to find out what our value proposition is. Why don't we go Dash? Why this little animation studio in North Carolina? And for us, it really comes down to our personality. You know, we make great work, we get stuff done on time, we turn it in under budget. But the reason folks continue to work with us, why they come back to us, it's because we're fun to work with. So pull one from Scott yesterday that we're all going to die. So blunt, Scott. But I'll tell you, you know, we are. And we want to work with good people. You know, the reason that we end up connecting with clients and connecting with friends, we enjoy their company, we enjoy working with one another, and that's why folks choose to work with us. So we're incredibly gregarious, big word, incredibly gregarious. Or at least I am. My staff is a little bit more introverted. But the importance is we love to talk about what we do. We love design. It's a problem-solving tool, and so being able to explain that is really important. We're also really symbiotic, you know, so we enjoy working not only with our teams on collaborative efforts, but also with clients. You know, it goes back to like, where does the best work come from? It comes from when we're on the same page and understanding the client's needs. So we're really symbiotic. We're really optimistic. That can be hard when you're on final version 08. We've all been there. But I think you always look at a glass half full mentality, always try to be as optimistic as you can. It's really contagious. We're also creative. Not only with that final product, we're all really proud of how things end up, but the journey along to getting there. You know, animation is a time-consuming process, right? We design things, right? We animate it initially. So it's really important to lay this groundwork of what's to come. And so really just honing in on that process, building a strong foundation makes the work the best it can be. And last but not least, we're honest and efficient. You know, we're always transparent while we can, or conversely cannot do something. Open with our clients about, you know, what is reasonable, what's feasible, what's not. And we're really efficient. As you'll see here shortly, Dash, we're really a generalist studio. We like to work on a lot of different things, and so we're always moving folks around. And so that personality and really who we are, you know, comes from this idea of community. You know, why do we invest in community? Why would a client care that we invest in community? We're a 15-person shop, and we work with some of these really great companies around the world, these big institutions. And one of the reasons we're able to do that is because we can hire out freelancers and contractors and scale pretty quickly. But to be a shop in North Carolina where you want to have contractors to work with you, you really have to give back and invest in the community. So for us, that investment is enabling us to scale with these. So a couple things we do for community. We started off with a series called Dash Dailies. That's my business partner, Corey. Is that a business partner on there? That's Corey. I don't know why I got Corey in this like really articulate position where we're doing, but so Dash Dailies, there's quick little tidbits on like honest conversations around the motion design industry. You know, what are things we've learned that are going well, what are things that we struggled through. Our executive producer, Marin, talked a little bit about the management side. But again, just our experience in navigating Dash and just sharing some of the things that we've run through. Other pieces in here we worked on is a mentorship program. So historically, the motion design industry has been predominantly male and white. And a lot of the reason that that's the case is because people who have been in leadership positions predominantly have been male and white. And they like to bring in other people that look and feel like them. So for us, in an effort to change that, we're trying to reach out to BIPOC and POC communities, bringing folks in who are maybe more underrepresented in our space, and not only helping them, you know, with portfolios and things, but giving them real-world connections. You know, giving them opportunities to connect with other studios and other people in our network to lift them up. So it's just another piece that we do a couple times a year. So another thing we have is internships. So with our internship program, you can be like Min and Kai here, who are having a blast on our retreat. Take you back right, I love that photo. We have an internship program, it's a 3-month long program. It doesn't have to be in North Carolina, although we have the option if folks wants to come there. But we pay our interns. We pay them $20 an hour. It's a 3-month gig and get put on actual client projects. They're treated just like an employee at the studio. And the reason that that's important is because one of the hardest things I think coming out of school is just understanding how quickly things move. What is the pace of the real world? What are the expectations of working a professional job? And so this just helps prepare our interns for a life and career in animation. The other thing we noticed in our industry is just how many great and wonderfully talented people there are. We have so many contractors and freelancers we work with on a regular basis. We wanted to start highlighting them, so we started interviewing all these different freelancers. We did blog posts that do these Tuesday takeovers. They interviewed different freelancers in our space, asked them questions about how they got into motion design, what they like to work on, and really helped elevate them so that not only our community can see them, but you know, any clients and other folks who are visiting our website as well. I like to think that some of these folks were helping elevate on our social channels, but I'm pretty sure some of them probably have more followers than we do. So maybe they're helping elevate us, who knows. But again, just trying to give and put recognition on the freelancers who are doing a lot of the work. You know, a big part of who we are at Dash, it's not like we're trying to take the credit for everything we do, it's trying to highlight the people that are making it work. Another direction we've done is no-graph lunches, where we interview different studio owners about running a studio. You know, the business side of design is a challenge, and I think for a lot of us who get into this space, you know, we don't come from a business background. And so trying to learn that along the way, figure out what to do, what not to do, just having some of these conversations with folks who are just getting going, as well as folks who have been around a while, not only is helpful for our community, but helpful for me as well too. And then the biggest external piece we've done is the Dash Bash. So the Dash Bash is a 2-day animation and motion design festival built around creativity, community, and inclusion. One of the things that we start to notice in our industry is, again, you go to a lot of conferences, I like to do, you start to see the same folks on the same circuit. It's like, it's always this one studio is talking, or these certain people that are talking. When the reality is, there's so many new ideas and opinions that are out there. One of the things that I really love about the Dash is that it really tries to not only talk about just like great work that you make, but really some actionable insights. You know, we had a couple of really good speakers from one I think of is a good friend of mine, Ricardo Roberts. He runs the Studio BN. You should definitely check it out. They're an inclusive motion design studio. So their whole concept is how do we design around inclusivity. So instead of trying to represent different demographics with just different colors of shading on characters, understanding that you actually need to design for features for a community. How do you best represent these different communities out there? So their whole studio is built on that. We had another guy, Aaron Ray, who started this company called Leadwork out of Denver, Colorado. And we're always talking about the success of studios. What's next? How are we going to grow? How are we going to get bigger? Well, Aaron shut down the studio when they were profitable and doing great. He was just ready for something different. But for us as a whole, it just seems like such weird friction to say, why would you shut something down that's going so well? But again, just kind of an honest conversation about maybe there's something else in life you want to try. Or we have our speaker, Faith Matata and Katie Eagle, they talk about the power of saying no. You know, we think about how we need to say yes, we need to look at that next opportunity, but actually not saying no can be a really powerful thing. And so, you know, we got to see all their work, but hearing some of these like really critical pieces, I think was really helpful. So the event itself, you know, is I think about 350 people, 325 maybe. But what I really loved about it, and what I really loved about events like we're here in this design week, is that while speakers are really great and really important, some of the most critical things that come to these events are the conversations that happen in between. It's the coffees in the lobby, it's getting to know the different people that are there, the folks that are visiting from out of town and making fostering those connections. And I think that's why events like this are so important. So this is our second time doing it, and we're going to do it a third time, I believe, in 2025. Tentatively is what we're planning for. So, you know, guys come visit me in Raleigh. Okay, so outside of the Dash and some of the external stuff that we've been doing, we also try to invest in our own internal community as well. And so one of the things that we've been doing internally is trying to make it a bit more stronger. Sorry, a little bit delayed here, catching up. Is also recognizing general growth of our internal teams. And so what I mean by that is like, we do all the stuff for the freelancers to make it a good experience for them to show that we're giving back to our community, but what are we doing to foster our own team's internal growth? So one of the things we came up with over this last year is a little bit of a growth track for our team. They give folks more of a management track as well as an individual creative track. You know, a big pain point that I saw in our industry, specifically from a design standpoint, is that you have junior designer, mid-level designer, senior designer, and then what? You know? I mean, what happens to the person who really loves to make, who loves to create, who wants to move their career forward, but maybe, you know, they don't want to be art director or creative director. They just want to be the person that makes. And so for us, we try to identify a creative path that allows people to continue in that creation process. You can't see this as well right here, but we have motion lead, principal motion designer, principal designer, you know, these ideas that you can be a lifelong creator and still make more money and still progress in your industry. And then we also have paths for folks who want to go into more of the management track. So the blue pieces here are stuff that we currently have. Red is what we're hoping to have in the coming years. But again, just trying to recognize the strengths and the individuals that we have on our team and giving them direction where they can go forward.
How about impact? I mean, we're a small team, you know, I forget who was saying it yesterday, but understanding a bit more of the business side of design. You know, on a monthly basis, we do recap reports on how well the studio is doing. Are we underperforming? Are we performing? Are we overperforming? What are some of the big projects we've won? What's happening from an HR standpoint, a creative standpoint, marketing, operations, so that people can really see that the work that they're working on is making a huge impact for our studio. How about clarity? Has anyone been in a job where you're not sure what your roles and responsibilities are, and you're constantly getting asked to do more, maybe for less? You're asking, where's my payment or my raise for doing a bit more? One of the things I recognized early in my career was just a lack of clarity on expectations for me, and lack of clarity on expectations for the roles that I wanted to get into. You know, I wanted to be an art director, but I honestly don't even think I really knew what an art director did, other than like just come up with concepts. And so we tried to really break down not only pay transparency, so what are the ranges for these roles, but defining every role that was on that chart. So at any point in time, someone can go in our studio and look up what the roles and responsibilities of those positions are. So if maybe you're a junior designer or a motion designer, and you're looking at, maybe you want to do art direction, maybe you want to be a senior designer, and kind of read through it and see if it's a good fit. And the most important thing we try to do with our staff and our community staff is the well-being. You know, I think over the pandemic, we recognized a bit more of the importance of mental health and burnout. The creative space is a bit nefarious for burnout. We've all been there, we've all been on a project, asking ourselves what we're doing, we just need a break. So one of the things we do is we do this pulse score on a weekly basis from our staff, 1 through 5. 5 being amazing and the best week ever, 1 being like, this is terrible. And what this gave us is the ability to quickly see if one individual staff member is having a harder time. Maybe it's something that we reduce friction on them having to reach out and say, like, hey, I need a hand. We can look at this and say, oh, you know what? Maybe so-and-so has a little bit too much work on their plate. You know, maybe we need to check in on them. Maybe there's something going on personally that we need to know about. And so it just gives us the opportunity to kind of identify that without the pressure of that person having to bring it to us. And it also lets us know if the studio itself is being in a rough spot. I mean, we all understand that not every project is going to be like a project. But if we are starting to see that the studio itself isn't feeling that great, you know, maybe we can institute a personal project, something we can all collaborate on. We track our well-being, we track our organization, how organized do you like the project is. When I think about like all my bad experiences as a designer, it's because like I didn't have the tools to succeed. I don't know if you was a Step Brothers movie fan, you have the tools to succeed. Enterprise real far. You get it, you get it. So, you know, we track the organization, how well is the project organized, who does the rest of the month. How creatively fulfilling are we? I mean, you know, our job is to make sure that our staff feel happy and excited to come to work. And so we track how creatively fulfilled you are. And that ebbs and flows, and sometimes we're in the, you know, perils of big projects. But just understanding where folks are is really important. That's a lot. So talking about external stuff that we do and internal stuff we do, we really do think of ourselves as partners. I still haven't shown you any animation yet, and I'm going to come back to that. But, you know, for us, the importance of people is so critical to success in a service industry. I'm going to say that again. The importance of good people in a service industry is so critical. So people are the most important thing. They're the ones that are making it work. It's so critical to us that we take care of our people. And when you do that, that's how you're able to make great work. So speaking of work, I'm going to show you guys a little 60-second highlight reel. So one of the things they talk about in motion design industry is a highlight reel. It's clips of some of our best work. I think it's give you a little bit of a vibe of who we are and what type of work we make.
watching that. Also good soundtrack. So we're a general studio. Someone told me a long time ago, like, you should find one thing you're really good at, do it over and over again, you'll make more profit. And that just sounds so boring to me. Like, who wants to do the same thing over and over again? So we don't do that. We do a ton of different things. So some of the stuff we do are 2D motion graphic pieces. This is really our bread and butter, kind of where we started. Animation is a really great conduit for explaining complex things. And so that's really where Dash kind of began, was these explainer videos, which are 2D motion graphics. We also do some character animation. This is what my mom thinks I do for a living. I don't know if any of your parents try to explain what you do for a living. But you have to do it. It's a really great Thanksgiving gag. You have to try to do it. Mom is like, oh, Mack, he does the cartoon. So much more sophisticated. She now tries to do the business art, because that's a little bit easier for her. But we make some really fun character animations that can be playful, like our little loopy gift right here, Enzo, or a bit more conservative than we need to be. We do type-based animations. These are really great kinetic pieces for a lot of energy. We've done stuff for broadcast like Rachel Maddow. We've done the things for like Remax and some of these other insurance companies up here. We also do some really cool 2D illustrative work. This is really fun. We get to work with a lot of different illustrators. We're in such a digital medium. How do you make things feel more human, a bit more tactile, a bit more authentic? So we had this cool holiday project last year. And we worked on, we had a little bit of downtime. One of our staff members had this like holiday pear tart that they always make, and we were like, oh, we should just animate that. And the cool thing about our main company is we'd be like, all right, yeah, let's just do that. So we animated this. We're fitting this like October. I feel like this is that right now. Over the pandemic, one of the big industries that was hit was live action shoots. You couldn't get together anymore. And so something that popped up in that was mixed media. How do you take a disparate amount of assets and unify them into a cohesive brand? We've also done 2D and 3D mixtures. One project in particular that like still sticks out. Every project we work on has moments that are really fun and stuff I really like. But one project we worked on was this project for Riot Games. So I don't know if anyone here is a big gamer. League of Legends, anyone? That's right. There it is. I'm being totally honest. Yeah, to be totally honest, I didn't know anything about League of Legends, how big it was, and it was like a crash course I had to learn gaming. We made the opening titles for their esports college championship back in 2018. I'll talk about this in a bit, but most of our projects take about 8 to 10 weeks to turn from start to finish. We made this entire project in 3 weeks. Don't tell any of our clients that. Not everything is possible. This came together through a really big team of freelancers and contractors and our internal team, and yeah, that's how it turned out. We do like composite interviews. If anyone's ever watched an interview, it can be really boring. So we like add animation to spice it up.
also do 3D motion graphics, so we build some really complex worlds. We do some 3D character animations. The conference we do the Dash Bash. We had this opening video that we like to make, and there's like kind of a subtle competition in the motion design space. Like, we can make like the coolest opening video. So we really went ham on this next one. And not only did we do stuff internally with our teams, but this was a really collaborative project where we brought in different studios, different freelancers. I mean, there must have been like 30 or 40 people working on this next video, and it's super weird. Anyway, we'll just play it. Here we go. Yeah, that's always really super fun on like those personal internal projects because we're just the client, so we're just making whatever we want to make, and that's what we did with that. We do some live action work. I would say it's like accounts for about 15% of the work that we make in a given year. I like it because when you approach it as an animator, you're really thinking about the pre-production story that goes into it. So we do a lot of like VFX work that kind of comes in there. We did like this robot dog feeder, which was kind of cool. So you can always add some like new unique pieces to it. All right, so animation. It's not hard. It's a lot like magic, and our clients find that and they really have no idea how it goes from start to finish. And like I said, we're always trying to distill complicated things, make it easier to understand. So we did the same thing with our process. Now, you may not be the animator, but I'm sure you'll see some parallels in our process and some of the things that we're trying to think about. The first thing we start with is discovery. We're all designers, we love making cool stuff, right? I think the important thing is to take a step back and start to ask the reason why, right? Whether you're a freelancer, you're an internal team, you're leading teams, that always has to be the first question you're asking. Why are we making this? Who's this for? What's the purpose of making it? Where are people going to be watching this? What do we want them to do after watching this? What demographic is it for? If it's 18-year-old scrolling on TikTok or 35-year-old scrolling on TikTok, it happens. Compared to like a 65-year-old real estate broker, those are two different audiences. So really understanding how your media medium is going to be digested really important. From there is the ideation. So what is the right fit for the product? We'll do design shreds. We'll take around ideas that are based off stuff we made in the past. We'll do kind of an audit of the broader creative industry. What else is kind of trendy right now? And also an audit of our competitors, of our clients' competitors. Like who is making stuff right now? We want to make sure that whatever we can make is as evergreen as it can be in a rapidly changing industry. From there, we're into messaging. So, what is the cadence and voice of the video? Is Is it more about leadership? Is it conversational? We're trying to get that tone down really critical. Pre-production, so these are all elements that go into an animation, things like style frames, storyboards, and Mack, which I'll show in a second. Production, all the elements that kind of come together. So that's where we lay out our roadmap, we're starting to animate it. And the last but not least is final files. There's so many elements to a video. How can we not only create the final video, but cut downs and the still images that come out of that? And that whole process, like I said, typically is about 8 to 10 weeks is kind of what we aim for. So I've got a little case study here for you to kind of walk through that process. So this is a project we made for Seltra, or a marketing automation platform that needed to explain a video. So most of our scripts are something like this. I'll put on my voiceover voice. As a head of marketing, you're used to managing big teams. This isn't a microphone, but sorry. As a head of marketing, you're used to managing big teams and big budgets. Your teams are armed for the latest media buying technology, now it's customer data, and the ability to reach any demographic you can dream of. Why can't you win the attention of consumers? So one of the first things we started to do is really break that down. What is the visual that we're kind of going for? Here we say the story opens on close up to the chief marketing officer, confident, happy, and seasoned, he's ready for anything. As the camera pulls back, you see the team working hard around him. The camera continues to pull back, the scene is enveloped by clouds of data, revealing a woman in front of a giant digital screen, so on and so on and so on. So the idea here is really focused on trying to decide, how much we want to live in reality, how abstract is this, and this gives the client a good indication of kind of where we're heading. So if there's any feedback and they're like, oh, we need to round this a little bit more, you're going into space too much, we can do that here. So the next piece we have to figure out is like, all right, this is a character-driven animation. What's our protagonist going to look like? So we start doing character sheets. Sometimes it can be as simple as 1 or 2, sometimes it's a myriad of them. But really starting to lay out, who is our protagonist, what they generally look like. Style frames highlight the overarching look and feel of the project. Color palette, how are compositions laid out. If there's any text in the piece, what does the text going to look like? But really, again, these are just still images that convey kind of where we're heading for the project. From there we get to storyboards. So one of the things that we really try to avoid is any sort of ambiguity as we're getting into the motion phase, right? The more clarity you can have, the better. So we do these really detailed storyboards that get paired up to that script that we're just doing. So hard to see, but again, it says, as a head of marketing, you're used to managing big teams and big budgets. That is really hard to see. It just looks like a blank square up there. But I promise you, there is stuff up there. And it's really detailed, it looks really good. But basically, you match up the boards to what's going on with the script. So we get through all that, and then one of the last pieces that we try to do before we get into animation is an animation, which is all about timing. How fast is this project going to be? How slow is it going to be? Do we need to add an extra scene? Do we need to remove a scene? So Animax allows us to do a little bit of timing. And we really got a great voiceover artist to do this one to help us out with it. So I'll show you.
As the head of marketing, you're used to managing big teams and big budgets. Your teams are armed with the latest media buying technology, mountains of customer data, and the ability to reach any demographic you can dream of. Why can't you win the attention of your consumers? It's because your digital advertising isn't relevant.
So again, it's nothing fancy, but the idea is just to start laying out the story a little bit. Now, animation, each step builds on itself as we move forward. So if we're doing everything right by the time we get to our final piece, there shouldn't be any surprises, and our animators can feel really comfortable moving forward making some dynamic animation. And so this is the final stop we need for Seltra.
As a head of marketing, you're used to managing big teams and big budgets. Your teams are armed with the latest media buying technology, mountains of customer data, and the ability to reach any demographic you can dream of. Why can't you win the attention of consumers? It's because your digital advertising isn't relevant. How do you deliver thousands of contextually relevant interactions targeted to consumers' personal tastes and behaviors, speaking to them all along the customer journey? Introducing Seltra. Seltra's platform turns your brand assets into digital advertising, designed to be dynamic and data-driven, optimized for each media channel, context, and audience. This enables thousands of hyper-relevant interactions with your consumers, all with greater efficiency, agility, and speed. Through computer vision and algorithms, you can seamlessly deliver brand-compliant ad content across all audiences and markets. Actionable creative performance data paired with people-based measurement helps you better understand and improve the impact that digital advertising has on your business, equipping you with valuable first-party data and insights that enables you to further enrich the conversation with your consumers. The result is better creative production, better workflow, and better performance. Celtra, the creative management platform.
All right, so by show of hands, who feels like they have a vibe in the studio? Everyone kind of get a vibe of like kind of what Dash is like. All right, that's great. Again, just really big believers in people. We have fun. Our content, even when it's different styles, kind of has this bit of energy to it. And so, when I think about the value of community, I think about this theme we have here of unite, and the importance of that, and the importance of the people that are around you right now. I just can't wait to share about how many values sit in this room. And that's what we're going to do. So here's a quick quote. I'm going to read this out loud. If we believe most people can be trusted, that's how we'll treat each other, to everyone's detriment. Few ideas have as much power to shape the world as our view of other people. So this is a Dutch historian who wrote this book, Humankind, A Hopeful History, Rutger Bregman. Highly recommend it. If you're struggling with like the news of the world and you're like, we're all doomed, read this book. Because what Rutger Bregman does is he goes through all these kind of big points in history where on the surface, you would think it's like the worst of humanity, and really paints that it's like not like that at all. Because there's this theory that the veil of humanity, I don't know if anyone's heard that before, but if you pull back the veil, we're actually this like raw, rugged, at each other's throats type mentality. But Rutger Bregman goes through and really talks about just the value of people and how over our history, the last 200,000 years, there's just been so many efforts in community-driven stuff. And it's really very hopeful and optimistic book. This is me. I graduated. Did it. Nice. This was a while ago. This was back in 2011. Just 5.5 years of college. It happens. I'm both like jumping for joy to graduate, and I have any more debt that I have to incur. But this is a really interesting picture for me because it's twofold. One is it's like incredibly optimistic, like I'm kind of jumping into this next step. But it was also right for a really harsh reality for me set in. When I graduated, I was not like my peers. I had not reached out to try to find an internship. I had been having a lot of fun in college, hence the 5.5 years. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I liked typography, graphic design, I liked illustration, I liked making videos. I did a little bit of animation, but I don't know if anyone in here has uncertainty about what they want to do for their future. But that was this guy. I had no idea. And I really struggled because I couldn't find a job, and so I ended up in this freelance space, not because I wanted to, but out of necessity. And when you're a freelancer, just show of hands. Anyone in here, how many of y'all are freelancers right now? Just out of curiosity, contractors? Okay, no. I think you'll find this pretty relatable, is that when you're a freelancer, it's not the stereotypical 9 to 5. You end up in these positions where your assets come in a bit late. You're not getting as organized as you need to be. You're having to work these late nights, and oftentimes you're by yourself. And that's exactly what I was feeling. I felt so siloed. I felt stuck. I didn't really know how to move forward. I didn't know who to reach out to because I graduated. I couldn't go to my professors anymore, or at least that's what I thought. Luckily for me, I ended up landing a entry-level job at this agency in North Carolina. It was pretty big. I think they had 120 people when I was there. And I met these wonderful folks, and it really changed my life. I went from this point in time where I was so lonely to now being surrounded by all these creatives, all these ideas, and most importantly, all this encouragement. I mean, all these folks right here wanted to see me succeed. They wanted to help. They wanted to reach out and say, oh, you should try this, or here's some valuable feedback, or here's a cool trick and tips, And so to me, I was just so taken back by how helpful this community was. And so I thrived there. I started growing from a junior animator to mid-level to senior, officially art director. And then I got wind of this motion design festival happening up in New York called F5. And at the time, I just knew the creative community in Raleigh, North Carolina, which isn't exactly large. So I remember seeing this festival, and I was talking to one of my animator friends, Corey, who ended up becoming a business partner. And I was like, let's go to New York. Let's go check out this festival. So he was, yeah, so I booked us like 5:30 in the morning flights, like New York. We'll just see it all. Like, these tourists will walk around. Everything was closed. We arrived in New York, nothing was open. I got coffee, walked around for 2 hours. It was so embarrassing. But I went to this festival, and when I went there, I had no idea what to expect. I had never gone to a conference before. I had no idea how I was supposed to act there. I did end up running into a friend of mine who was also coincidentally going. You know, I had all my business cards out, hand these out to all these people. And but it was like, whoa, you can't just go into an event and just start handing out business cards. It's not transactional. It's a lot of what Keith was talking about yesterday that I was really connected with as well, is you have to make genuine connections. When you go to events like this, here, let's try to do a little test. Who here wants to meet people this weekend? Who here wants to meet someone? All right, everyone look around. Look everyone, up to your hands, up to your hands, up to your hands. Look around. Look who here wants to meet you. These are folks that are looking for a connection, right? And so you go to events like this, you make these genuine connections, you get to know people. My community all of a sudden was so small in Raleigh, North Carolina, in this creative space. Over this weekend, I met other freelancers, other contractors, other studio owners, other people who were like, hey, let me help you, let me introduce you to these folks. And I came back so inspired, and no joke. Like, it was literally 3 or 4 months after this conference. The guy who went to Corey, we were like, let's start a running shop. Let's do it. We can try to do it. Let's be like one of these boutique agencies we met up there. And so shortly after I felt so inspired, we started our own company, Dash. So the next year, 2016, so I was 2015, went to that. 2016, there was another conference called South Frank, the Art of the Pitch. I did not go up there at 5:30 this time. Learned my lesson. We went up there to this one again, and at least this time I had to understand what a conference could be like. I kind of got the vibe of the studios, what's going to happen. And I remember there was this panelist of these studio owners, and at the time we were 1 year in, and we had like great creative aspirations, but we had no business acumen. Like I had no idea how to run a business. And so, hearing these terms like statements of work, I had no idea. Master services agreement, I had no idea what those were. And I remember having these burning questions to ask, and I felt so nervous to ask them. I was like, gosh, I want to look dumb, I want to look like I don't know what I'm talking about. But luckily I broke through that. I started asking some of these folks these questions, and to my surprise, they were so kind. Everyone was just like, yeah, give me good answers, give me good feedback, give me good direction. And so again, I came back from this conference, having asked those questions, learned all these things, and implemented it and put it into Dash, and we became a better studio. Fast forward, I found another one called WinFest. This was out in Vancouver, and this was a really small festival, really small and intimate kind of boutique. But again, we went out there, and they had a couple different festivals, I think 2016, 17, and 19. And now I was there and I had a little bit more experience. And then what I found out is I was meeting other folks who were just starting their studios. And all of a sudden I was the one asking questions. I was like, I actually have some advice for you. And it felt good to be able to share and get back from the stuff that I had learned. And what I realized, and Corey and I realized as we were growing Dash, is the creative work is really exciting, but working with great people is even better. And collaborating with amazing folks who want to bring their heart and energy and to hang out, to have fun, and make all this good stuff. And that is the reason why Dash has made this path of reinvesting in the community, why we continue to try to do things. It's why I'm here at Phoenix Design. I want to hang out with all of you all. I'm serious, I'm going to find, maybe not all of you, well, I'll find a lot of you. But it's why community is so important. And there's a couple things that I've learned. Dash, we're in our 8th year. And I'm proud that we're still around after 8 years, but I know the reason we are is because the community of support has been around. So there's a couple things that I think I take away from the community investment we've done over the years that I think you should keep in mind as you go out today, this last day of the festival, and meet other people. The first is stability, which is represented by a nice pizza slice. I don't know why I took that. I think it was probably because I ran out of time on the slide, but So the most important thing that I can say from the success of Dash over the last 8 years is the value and importance of having good connection. And when I really visualized that, I started to look at Dash's top 10 clients that we've had over the last 8 years. And so this is broken down basically by top 10 clients every year. And I pulled out the different numbers, but this is our revenue. So what those clients have given us from a revenue standpoint. When I started to look at this, and I started to ask myself, what is the value of a connection? It literally started to show itself. All these blue lines are
clients that we were referred to or we had some sort of connection with. The biggest projects of your life are going to come through your friends. I don't know if you recognize that yet. They have in text messages, they have in emails, they have in conversation. The biggest projects of your life are going to come through connections that you have. This first one is a game-changing amount of money for our studio. This allows us to continue to grow. And the reason we won that project, we did that conference, the Dash Bash, year one. There happened to be a freelancer that came to that conference who I didn't know, who had an amazing experience. He loved the conference, he loved the energy, he loved the vibe. He was doing a lot of work for a client, and they started giving him more work. He's like, I can't handle all this. This is too much work. And they're like, well, do you have a studio? Do you recommend someone who might be able to handle this? It was like, oh, just went to the Dash Bash. You should go work with Dash. They're amazing. That's how we won the biggest project we've ever won in the history of our company. The second one, that's one of our biggest competitors. One of our biggest competitors in our space are great people. I love them. I'm really close with them. The owner of the studio is even the mentor of me. They were either too busy or it wasn't the right fit. They recommended us. They said, you should reach out to Dash. You'd be a good fit for this project. That's the second biggest project we've ever won as a company. And this third one kind of hits on something we were talking a little bit about yesterday. It's not like always looking to like who the next person is you're going to talk to. The reason we want our third biggest client, shoot, there goes the climax. The reason we had the third project is these were other animators and interns that I worked with in my first agency job that went on to work at this company, who then grew into leadership positions. And now they're like, oh man, it's so great to run this company, let me bring you in and work with you. That the three biggest projects we ever had came as a result of that. So again, just the importance of fostering connections has a monetary value. Dash has worked with about 87 clients since our origin. 74% of them, I'll look back, had a personal connection associated with them. 74%, that's crazy. That's crazy. If we start looking even beyond just the monetary amount that comes into it, we have 2 positions that came open over the last year, and we had 200 plus applicants coming in for those 2 positions, 2 full-time ones. Now, I know that doesn't happen unless we're doing Tuesday takeovers, MoGraph lunches, all the content that we're putting out there so that people know that we're on the radar and know that we have this brand of community. That happens because of that. Over the last 3 years, we've had over 1,000 freelancers reach out to us and want to connect with us. That doesn't happen just by itself. It happens because you're putting out and standing by all the stuff you're doing to take care of the people in your space. So the stability that comes as a freelancer, as a business owner, from reinvesting in the community is very good. The other thing is health. Community offers health. Here's a quote for you. You're like, oh gosh, you didn't say that at all. That's right. Who designed this? So I'm going to read it to you down here so you can see it. It says, loneliness is an epidemic. Young adults are twice as likely to be lonely than seniors. 79% of adults aged 18 to 24 report feeling lonely, compared to 41% of seniors aged 66 and older. The reality is that isolation and mental health has just been even more problematic with the pandemic. Vivek Murthy, he's the 19th and 21st Surgeon General of the United States, has this quote here. Connection, not hatred, is the glue that makes us feel we truly belong. Loneliness is the subjective feeling that you're lacking social connections you need. Every Surgeon General comes into the United States and they typically have a health topic they focus on. A lot of times it's been cancer, a lot of times it's been heart disease. But what you realize is that loneliness and isolation is becoming a really problematic piece of it. So for us, as we were looking at like the pandemic and what was happening, we knew we needed to take steps and action items to make sure that our staff felt seen and heard. So we started doing daily stand-ups with the team. We're getting on for 30 minutes just to have a little bit of interaction. We started doing mental health days. A couple times a month, we shut the whole studio down. Shut the whole studio down for us all to get a little reprieve and go get stuff done. I think the hardest thing as an adult is just actually doing chores and like getting your laundry done or running errands. So I know that helps a little bit with mental health days. One-on-ones with other staff, making space to have conversation with the peers. Learning lesson Fridays, we started having staff teach the other staff new topics or new trends that they've learned. And we also do the retreats where a couple times a year we get our staff together to see each other. because you really have to be intentional about not being by yourself. Why it's so important to be a part of AIGA, why it's so important to come to events like this, put yourself out there to meet other creatives in the space. And when you invest in those things, there's tangible results that come from it. Going back to the chart that we were talking about earlier and tracking kind of the well-being of the staff, really seeing a trend and a shift as far as the loneliness that people are experiencing and how it comes. The third piece I'm sure as well is support. Community matters. Poor choice on Dash's bright colors, not so great things. Community matters because it creates a sense of purpose, builds social connections, and offers a support network. By surrounding ourselves with good people who are honest, open, and supportive, we'll all learn more together and help each other achieve our goals. Because the reality is, and why these events are so important, why we keep investing in community, why we're taking these things, is because here's the reality. Nobody knows it. Nobody knows it. I remember, as a junior animator, looking at all these people in leadership positions, gosh, this is smart. So I figured it out. We got it. And then all of a sudden, I started running the studio. I started peeking behind the veil, and then all of a sudden, you realize that we're all just trying to make the best decisions possible. When you have a client who's really frustrated or upset, they don't know what they're doing. They're just upset because they don't know how to handle that. They just did a job deadline or a big deadline, and they're frustrated. If you are struggling and you're encountering a new thing you've never encountered before on a project, you're upset because you feel like you can handle it wrong or you don't know how to handle it, that's okay, because no one knows what they're doing. I think the important thing is understanding that and then just feeling comfortable to ask questions. Ask for what you want. This is a TikTok video that I saw. So I have 3 quotes on here. I have Rutger and Brendan, historian, David Murphy, our Surgeon General, and then I have Sophie Burton from TikTok. Whoever that is, it's just possible what they do today. But I just really love the video. I should have done the video a little bit, but I really love the video because she goes on to say, ask for what you want, ask for what you need. And I think so many times we find ourselves in these places where, like in a conference, you don't ask the question, you don't put yourself out there because you're afraid of the ramifications of the perception of what's going to happen if it's a dumb question or whatever it is. But the reality is, earlier we opened up our hands, who wants to make a connection? And I saw basically every hand go up in here because we're all willing to help. And so in fact, we're going to put it to a test right now. Going rogue here. Didn't even plan this, but we're going to roll with it. I'm going to switch over from the lapel mic to this handheld audio team. Check, great. Okay, who in here has a...
Can we turn the volume down a touch? Yeah. It's real loud.
Is it real loud?
It's real loud.
Sure loud. Is that better? Maybe I'll hold it here. Okay, great. Loud person, loud mic. Who in here is trying to navigate a career problem right now? Is anyone trying to get into a new industry, trying to find an internship, trying to get a job somewhere? Raise your hand. Let's see. All right, let's go right here. All right, Ryan. Where are you trying to navigate right now?
I'm trying to get into UX design.
UX design. Okay. What's your name?
Pablos.
Pablos. Are you here in the Phoenix area?
No, I'm just...
Tucson. Okay. I'm from North Carolina. I'm not even sure how close we're right now. Okay. So Pablos is trying to get into UX design. Who in here feels like they're in that industry, in UX design? Anyone? I see a couple of hands. Who in here would be comfortable in talking to Pablos about your company and where you are in design? There's one. There's two. There's more. 3. So Pablos, you have 3 people around you. Over here, what's your name? Bubina. Bubina. Bubina's in UX design, and she said she's willing to help you. So you guys can chat after this call and figure out this call. This chat. I don't know what's happening right now. So there's 3 people around you that can help in UX design. So there's one connection right there. Who else is trying to navigate something right now? I'm just walking up. Here we go. Anyone else? Anyone have a career problem? A man in a hat back here. What's your name? Bobby. Bobby, where are you trying to navigate right now? Consultants telling me what to do.
Okay, so navigating consultants or navigating the conversations around that. Does anyone have experience with that? Just a quick hand. Over here, a whole row of people. Bobby, do you know them? Oh, great. So who are y'all? Molly. Molly, we met. Great to see you. That's right. Molly, Carmen, Taylor. Molly, Carmen, Taylor, and Lacey want to help you, Bobby. So you guys can connect after this phone call. Y'all can chat. That's right. What I want to highlight right there, I feel like this is like a talk show. What I want to highlight right there is just in that brief moment, we're able to foster and make some connections. And that's just like 30 seconds. We have all day yesterday, we have all day today. So I'm going to empower you with this. The best things in our industry, the best connections, the best jobs, the best people, they happen here. Change doesn't come from some big city, so know-it-all telling us what to do. It happens here. The change and the stuff that's happening in our industry starts here. So I encourage you to go out, make connections, get to know people, let's make some stuff happen. Woo! That's it. That's all I got.